So I'm 38. I believe I'm beautiful, in shape, successful, and I'm single. I wanted to get married and have kids, but the dating pool in my city, actually, child, every city is the worst. A few months ago, I began swiping on a dating app that I joined, and I swiped on a guy that looked familiar. He was attractive, but I couldn't place where I had seen him before. I decided to swipe right, and we actually matched. He sent me a message and said, "Hey, beautiful, I think I've seen you before." It was at this moment I realized that I'd seen this man at the gym, and we've made eye contact a couple of times, but we never said anything to each other. I messaged him that it was the gym. He messaged back, "You are right." His name was Matt. We had a great back and forth interaction on the app, so we decided to exchange numbers. We texted back and forth for a few days, then Matt asked me to dinner. At this point, we had only texted each other, no phone calls or anything, but I have to admit I'm not much of a phone person anyway, so I was okay with texting. I figured it really wasn't a big deal because we had actually seen each other in person before, so no harm, no foul. The night of our date came and we had plans to meet downtown at a popular Mexican restaurant. I called Matt when I arrived and we met in front of the restaurant. As soon as I saw him, I got butterflies. He was so attractive. We got a table and ordered some margaritas and food. Right off the bat, our conversation felt a bit awkward. I was a little bit confused because we did text back and forth pretty well, but of course, having a conversation with someone is a totally different situation. When Matt spoke, he barely gave any eye contact and he would give very short answers. If I would ask a question to keep the conversation going, he would just stop and pause really awkwardly. I thought at first maybe he was just nervous, but after the food came, there was more weird silence. He was barely looking at me and it was just too much. He didn't ask me any questions about myself and he seemed completely uninterested. I was a bit confused. It's not like we didn't know each other or had seen each other before, but hey, it is what it is. In any event, I was ready for this date to end. After about 15 more minutes of this horrible situation, I told Matt that I was going to head out because I needed to get up early the next day. He actually looked disappointed and asked me to stay longer. He said he was having a good time. Was he serious? He barely said 2 words to me the whole night. Right then I knew this dude was way weirder than I thought. I insisted that I needed to leave, but I could pay my half for the bill if needed. As I stood up, Matt looked at me with this mean look of disgust, and he said it was fine. He would pay the bill. I thanked him for the date, and I left. When I got home that night, Matt texted me and asked me if I made it home okay. I told him yes, and I thanked him for the date. I did not plan on responding to any more of his messages after that. During the next week or so, Matt would text me random short messages like, "Good morning, what are you doing?" and stuff like that, but I never responded. A few days into my new gym routine, I was running on the treadmill and I looked over and to my horror, Matt was getting on the treadmill next to me. He didn't say a word. He just gave me this look of hate. I still smiled and said hello, but he didn't say a word. He started to run on the treadmill and the air was so thick you could cut it with a knife. So many things were going through my head at this point. Most of all, I felt uncomfortable and slightly scared. I stayed on the treadmill for another 5 minutes, then got off. I cut my workout short that night, grabbed my shit, and headed to the car. I was completely lost in my thoughts on the 10-minute drive home. I got home, pulled into the garage, went into the house, hopped in the shower, and decided that I was going to start going to a new gym completely. I didn't want to switch gyms, but I felt like it was what I needed to do for the time being to be comfortable. Later that evening, I was watching TV and I noticed a shadow outside of my living room window. I gasped. I live in a subdivision, so there are many houses around mine. We're actually a pretty close-knit community, so I thought it could have been a neighbor chasing their dog or something like that. I turned the TV down and listened, but I didn't hear anything, so I decided to go to the window to look. I still didn't see anything. I only saw my neighbor Mary across the street getting out of her car. I walked outside and yelled, "Hello, Mary." She smiled and waved back. It was around 6 p.m. summertime, so it wasn't quite dark yet, but it was getting there. Since there was still a little bit of daylight, I decided to walk around the side of the house to see if I saw anyone, but I didn't see anything or anyone. I went back inside and just started cooking dinner. Overall, I had a good night. I ate dinner, watched my favorite show, talked to my sister on the phone, and enjoyed a glass of wine before bed. I got in bed around 10 p.m. and fell asleep rather quickly. Around midnight, I was jolted away by my cell phone ringing. When I answered it, it was my neighbor Mary. She said that the police were on the way because her and her husband saw a man looking in my windows. I just sat there on the bed not knowing what to do. I stayed on the phone with Mary and her husband was on the phone with 911. From what Mary was telling me, the man was actually still walking around my house at that very moment. He was completely unaware that my neighbors had called 911. After about 4 minutes, I heard yelling and screaming outside of my house. The police arrived and caught the man in the act. Turns out, it was Matt. At some point, he followed me home from the gym and I was completely unaware. I'm so happy my neighbors saw him when they did, because who knows what he was planning if he would have broken into my home. Matt went to jail that night. I got a restraining order against him that same week, along with brand new cameras outside of my house. It's been a few weeks now and I've not seen or heard from Matt, thank goodness. I do look over my shoulder here and there, but as time goes on, things get better. I've also started dating a new guy and he's pretty terrific. We've had quite a few dates and things are going well.